First of all, to frame this discussion, I thought it would be appropriate to begin with a quote from Jack Welch, former CEO of General Electric. In his recent book, Winning, he states, "Without doubt, the head of HR should be the second most important person in any organization. From the point of the CEO, the director of HR should be at least equal to the CFO." From your experience, what benefits do organizations derive when they place this kind of focus on their HR processes and elevate it to the strategic level?
Good question. Excellent. And I do like the quote, by the way. Well, we know that people are what make it happen. And so if we sort of consider people last after we've made our business plans and our budgets, then what happens is we may not get the results that we're looking for. So really it does impact the bottom line, and you can do some isolated measurement around that. So I certainly support the strategic voice in the planning as well as the execution process.
Okay. What do you think the biggest obstacle preventing from HR, or the biggest obstacle preventing HR from reaching this position in most organizations?
Yeah, pretty passionate about this. I think in many organizations, the various departments, as well as the leadership teams, often misunderstand what HR is capable of offering. So they see us as the people who are hiring us and firing us, and maybe helping organize a Christmas party. And in more progressive organizations, the leadership team understands, or certain departments within an organization might have a relationship with HR and see that there are strategic and dynamic and innovative solutions that can be brought to the table. But I think that we have a long way to go. So
it's a journey.
Simply put, I think organizations misunderstand what HR is all about and could be for them. Mm-hmm.
Now, in this process, it's important for HR to speak the language of business and to be able to be able to measure and report the benefits of their efforts. What advice would you give to an HR department that's trying to carve out a spot at the executive table?
Well, for those who know me, they know that I'm pretty much about networking with people, and it's about relationships. And I think if you want to be a proactive human resources professional, you go out there and you seek out key personnel that you need to build relationships with. So for example, in operations, distribution, finance, purchasing, sales and marketing, and understand their business first. Understand what it is that they do, what is our core business, and what are their challenges and successes. And then start to market what HR could offer. I think that would be my number one tip for sure.
Now, the HRMAE focuses on leading HR professionals to add strategic value to their organizations. How can involvement with the HRMAE aid HR professionals in building organizational strength?
And again, I know it's overused, but networking, it's building relationships and a support system within the HR community and extension outside of that in the business community. HRMAE has traditionally focused on providing a network for HR professionals, and we're starting to move towards, from a strategic perspective, understanding business needs in general. So it's beyond just the HR cylinder. So I certainly think that coming to our mixers and our dinner networking meetings and breakfast meetings is a good starting point for a lot of HR pros.
All right. And as our economy begins unthawing, it's predicted that the labor force in Alberta is going to constrain growth as organizations are unable to find qualified workers. What strategic steps would you recommend organizations focus on now to provide them with a competitive advantage in the future?
Well, I know what Germany is doing. What they've found success with is actually in lean times, instead of laying people off, they're encouraging their employers to look at backscaling. So keeping employees on part-time, some kind of a partial FTE, so that they remain in the workforce, they keep their skills current, they keep their industry knowledge up to date, and also providing EI benefits so that there is support for workers. There are studies done around the 2-year atrophy, like the skills atrophy. Once you're out of the market for more than 2 years, it's really tough, and we've seen that a lot in the U.S. So instead of cut and dry, keeping some and it's all or nothing, is sort of looking at some creative options around scaling back to 0.4 FT or 0.8 FTEs and things like that.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for this interview, Julianna.
Mm-hmm.
And,